hitam sarvaguyatamam bhuya Shrinu me paramam vacha Shtosi me dhritam iti Ishto vakshyami te hitam Sarvaguyatamam, the most confidential. Bhuya, again. Shrinu, just here. Me, from me. Paramam, the supreme. Vacha, instruction. Ishtasi, you are very dear to me. Me, of me. Dridam, very. Iti, thus. Tata, therefore. Vokshyami, speaking. Te, for your. Hitam, benefit. Translation. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you the most confidential part of knowledge. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Purport. The Lord has given Arjuna confidential knowledge of the Supersoul within everyone's heart, and now he is giving the most confidential part of this knowledge. Just surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of the 9th chapter he has said, just always think of me. The same instruction is repeated here to stress the essence of the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. This essence is not understood by a common man, but by one who is actually very dear to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. This is the most important instruction in all Vedic literature. What Krishna is saying in this connection is the most essential part of knowledge, and it should be carried out not only by Arjuna, but by all living entities. We may as well read the next verse because that's the one where Krishna gives that knowledge. Next 2 verses especially. 65. Manmana Baba Madbhakto Majaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evaishasi Satcham Te Pratijane Priyosidme Manmana Baba Madbhakto Majaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evaishasi Satcham Te Pratijane Priyosime Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Majaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evaishasi Satcham Te Pratijane Priyosime Manmana, thinking of me. Bhava, just become. Madbhakta, my devotee. Madhyaji, my worshipper. Mam, unto me. Namaskuru, offer your obeisances. Mam, unto me. Eva, certainly. Eshyasi, come. Satcham, truly. Te, to you. Pratijane, I promise. Priya, dear. Asi, you are. Me, my. Translation. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Purport. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have a chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with 2 hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna. He should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms, as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge. And this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. Sarvaguyatamam bhuya shinu me paramam bacha shtosi me dutam iti tato bhakshami te hitam manmana bhavamad bhakto majajimam namaskuru mame vaishasi satcham te pratijane priyosi me. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you the most confidential part of knowledge. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So actually Krishna has summarized in these 2 verses the whole essence of Vedic literature. He has taken the whole Vedic literature with all of its so complex rules, regulations, and ideas, and has just boiled it down to the very essence of existence. He is so merciful to his devotee Arjuna that he's giving the essence of instruction very quickly so that Arjuna doesn't have to waste his time. You know, we actually are very lucky that we have been given Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and even more lucky Chaitanya Charitamrita, because these books save us a lot of trouble. They give us the essence of spiritual knowledge very quickly. Whereas if we had to wade through the incredible ocean of Vedic knowledge, we may miss the point. And this is going on. This missing the point business has been going on for thousands of years amongst those who are just proclaiming to be Vedic scholars. They don't actually understand the real purpose of Krishna, or the real purpose behind the Vedas. As Krishna says, Vedaischa savairahameva vejo, by all of the Veda I am to be known. So sometimes people, when they take up the Vedic knowledge, they don't really understand the purpose of what they're doing. There are so many fruitive activities, sacrifices they perform, throwing grains or performing different shraddha sacrifices, or in whatever way of trying to gain elevation to heavenly planets, or they think that's what they're supposed to do, because it says in the Kama sections of the Vedas, the portions which try to satisfy desires, it says you should satisfy the desire to go to heavenly planet, or you should satisfy the desire for knowledge, or you should satisfy the desire for gaining all kinds of material facilities on this planet. And in this way, one becomes bewildered by all of these contradictory types of instructions. One points in this direction, one points in that direction, one points in this direction. And therefore family traditions developed amongst followers of the Vedas, where they followed more or less the tradition of their family. You even find sometimes people, they're called Trivedi in India, Chaturvedi. They are following a specific kind of understanding of the Vedas, and they got different names accordingly. They became a tradition. This is not very useful, because simply following something as a tradition does not really give one realization of what he's talking about. It may help him somewhat to get a family guru, or as soon as he comes into his age, he gets some traditional training, some traditional initiation from the family guru. But this doesn't really bring you to the highest platform. So Krishna, he just is slicing away all of this extraneous business, all of these things which actually aren't really important. Krishna is just slicing them away one after another. And he's just cutting off all the fat that might be there around Vedic knowledge. Extraneous things which don't really hit to the heart of the situation. And he's telling Arjuna, says, in case somebody's doubting Krishna's motivation, why is Krishna doing this when everybody else has to struggle to get to the same point? In fact, they hardly even get to the same point. Vedeshu Durlabham. It's very rare even for the big Vedic scholars to come to the point of understanding Krishna. So why is it that Arjuna is being dragged right to the ultimate point immediately? What is it about Arjuna that makes him different than everybody else? And here it states. It says, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you this most confidential part of knowledge. Because Arjuna is the dear friend of the Lord. That's the most important thing. If you are very dear to Krishna, then Krishna acts in a reciprocating way. If you are doing things for the benefit of Krishna, then Krishna will help you by giving things for your benefit. So Arjuna, he's always serving Krishna. His eternal position of servant of Krishna. So Krishna is wanting to serve him best. Therefore, for his benefit, because he is so much serving Krishna, he is giving him this knowledge, Krishna is giving Arjuna this knowledge, which will give him the supreme benefit. So, the qualification, the real qualification to understand spiritual knowledge is here. Therefore, it's secret. Krishna calls this most confidential, Sarva Guyatamam. Guyam refers to a secret. Guyatamam refers to the topmost. Sarva means all. So it's the topmost secret of all secrets. Sarva Guyatamam. That is the knowledge which he is giving. The most secret of all secrets he is imparting, Krishna. Because Arjuna is qualified to get it. And at the end, we will find just a couple of verses, not even 3 verses from here, on text 67. This confidential knowledge may not be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Just see how Krishna is qualifying who can get this knowledge. And then here he states, for one, the next verse, for one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So Krishna is saying, if somebody is envious of him, or not engaged in devotional service, or in some way not performing activities which bring one closer to Krishna in a friendship relationship or whatever, that he should not receive this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And that on the other hand, one who is engaged, he should receive this knowledge to Bhagavad Gita, and one who teaches such persons. He is the most dear servant of Krishna, and there's no one more dear than he. So this is very clear, that Krishna wants this knowledge to go to those who have that qualification. And in fact, just yesterday we explained in so many ways about the qualification of somebody who is to attain this knowledge, beginning with that verse about being situated on the platform of Brahmabhuta, if you remember yesterday. Hopefully you remember yesterday. So, this knowledge which is given is very special knowledge. It's a very special thing. Even you speak it directly to somebody, he won't even hear it unless he's got qualification of being non-envious of Krishna. An envious person, he has an amazing qualification. Whatever you tell him, he will twist it. He will twist it and turn it into some kind of false thing. Or twist it into something which he can use to criticize or contradict what you're saying. Envious people, they're like that. No matter how much logic you use, they'll simply turn it around and try to use it against you somehow or another by some mental speculation. Therefore, even you tell them the truth, they will twist it all up. Even you tell them Bhagavad Gita directly, they will twist it all up for their own ends. Therefore, they cannot learn Bhagavad Gita because they're twisted. Their brain is twisted. Therefore, any knowledge that goes in gets twisted up immediately. Therefore, they can never understand things as they are, straight. That's a very unfortunate thing, but that's a fact. Some people are like that. They don't accept straightforward what Krishna says. First of all, because they don't accept Krishna. And because they don't accept Krishna, there's no question of serving Krishna or surrendering to Krishna. Therefore, because you don't serve it, there's no question of becoming dear to Krishna. Therefore, you cannot hear Bhagavad Gita. Now that's not like a punishment. That's a fact. Even you are spoken Bhagavad Gita to directly, you won't be able to hear it if you are not properly qualified. You can tell, just like you can tell somebody everything about devotional service, Krishna consciousness, but if that person has not this qualification, if he's envious, he won't hear a word you say. It'll just bounce off the rock-hard skull. Therefore, this Krishna consciousness is Rajaguyam. It's a big, big secret. It's amazing. Devotees find it amazing how Krishna consciousness can be called a secret. Because we're busy telling everybody all the time. But it's a secret because nobody accepts it. They don't accept it for what it is. Therefore, for them, they cannot understand. Just like if you had a diamond and you dressed it up like a regular piece of glass. Or even you said this is a diamond, but if people accepted it as a piece of glass, then for them it would still remain a secret that this is a diamond. If you said this is a diamond, but everybody said, that's just a piece of glass, then to them it's a secret that this is really a diamond. So in Krishna consciousness, you're presenting the topmost knowledge, and somebody says, this is just some opinion. Of course, it is opinion. It's Krishna's opinion. He says in here, this is my opinion. Of course, when Krishna gives his opinion, it's a lot better than anybody else's opinion. There's nobody's opinion who's anywhere near as good as Krishna's. Whatever Krishna's opinion is, that's a fact. See, Krishna, even his determination is a fact. When Krishna determines something, as soon as within he even starts to determine that something should be, it immediately is. Whereas when we wish something to occur, we have to cause it to occur by our action. But Krishna, he just vaguely even desires, slightly, something to exist or something to happen, it immediately occurs. Therefore, if Krishna has an opinion, that is immediately fact. Even if it wasn't a fact before, if he says, this is my opinion, it's immediately fact. That is the nature of Krishna. He's absolute. He's the supreme controller. Whatever he says goes. Whatever Krishna wants, that's the way it is. Now some people say, well, this is just fascism. Okay, if you want to call it fascism, okay. But the fact is you got to do it anyway. Even you may label it something and thus say, well, I'm not going to follow that. See, that's just fascism. I'm going to do something else. We're going to have democracy in my world. We're going to have liberalism in my world. No, forget it. Anyway, you're going to die. No, that's fascism. But you're going to die anyway. If you want to see Krishna as a cruel, evil God who's forcing things upon everybody, you can see him like that. But still, you can't deny that that's the fact. He forces your death upon you, your old age, your disease. He also forces the suffering of a free birth. He forces spring, summer, winter, fall, these changes. He's forcing everything is just going on by his will, his desire. The day, the night, everything's going on by Krishna's desire. Only the envious will say, Krishna is this great, cruel, supreme being who's causing suffering to everybody. The demons, they say like that. The fools, they say, God must be all good if there's a God. There can be no bad in him. Therefore, if he's causing such suffering to us, that means there's no God. It's simply going on by chance. They go through this logic also. That's another kind of enviousness. They're so envious that they decide that we will abolish God. The first class, the demoniac class, at least they say they want to kill Krishna. At least they admit Krishna's there. And that Krishna is doing these things which cause trouble, just like Hiranyaksha.